This is 5 on your side at 6. Focused on you.
Right now, a man is facing multiple charges for a deadly MetroBus shooting. 2 people were killed when police say the suspect blocked the bus with a stolen car and shot at it. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson, in for Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. Hours ago, the Major Case Squad announced the murder charges and shared the names of the victim. 5 on your side's Diamond Palmer is joining us now live from Berkeley. Diamond.
Well, Mike and Kelly, this afternoon, the Major Case Squad told us this shooting was random. Metro Transit officials told us this afternoon as well that video surveillance inside of the bus was able to catch the suspected shooter. And this evening, we have learned that Anthony Frazier is facing multiple counts, including murder, armed criminal action, robbery, and unlawful use of a weapon. Now, police say this shooting happened Monday at 2:30 in the afternoon on Airport Road near Jefferson Avenue. They say Frazier shot and killed 37-year-old Jorge Pinzon because he, quote, looked at him the wrong way. Police say 34-year-old Jaron Jackson Craig was an innocent bystander on the bus and was also shot and killed. Witnesses told police Frazier fired into the bus. Then he entered the bus and fired even more shots. Police say Anthony Frazier also stole a car and Bell Fountain neighbors before the shooting, and investigators were able to arrest him in that same neighborhood after the shooting. Today, Metro Transit officials and the Major Case Squad spoke out about the level of severity of this shooting.
Our profound condolences to the families of the 2 victims on that bus yesterday. This was a heinous and vile act. It is something that is very discouraging, not only for our mode of transportation, but our entire region.
All of this cooperation led to a very quick, smooth arrest and took a very violent person off the streets.
This evening, Metro Transit officials tell us that they are continuing to enhance surveillance technology on all transportation systems, as well as including routine transportation on routine traffic stops for high crime stops. Anyone with information is urged to call Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS. Reporting live here in Berkeley, Diamond Palmer, 5 on your side.
And right now, police are looking for a person involved in another MetroBus shooting that happened last week. This video was taken around 10:30 p.m. on March 5th when the bus was on North Hanley Road in Veneta Park. That shooter fired several shots inside the bus. A passenger was hit, but he is expected to live. Anyone with information about this shooting is asked to call police.
Tonight, crews are still investigating what started a house fire in Wentzville. 8 people escaped from the house. 1 person went to the hospital. 5 on your side's Mercedes McKay spoke with firefighters and neighbors about the chaotic overnight scene.
As the sun rose over St. Charles County Tuesday morning, it painted a completely different picture than what took place hours before.
I was in bed. I live up this street, and I kept seeing blinking, and I'm like, what is going on? And I kept hearing noises.
Those noises were fire trucks barreling down Shelley Schmierold Street on Providence Estate Drive near Piney Road in Wentzville.
It was a little scary, and then it went on for like a long time.
Fire crews were called to this home just before 11:30 Monday night. When they arrived, they found a fire in the back of the house with the flames spreading to the garage.
We quickly got the fire under control, trying to prevent it from extending into the attic space on the second floor.
This is what the home looked like nearly 10 hours after this fire started. As you can see behind me here, the rear end of the house got most of the damage. You can see all of that fire damage on the roof of this home, as well as the garage, which is now boarded up with debris and pieces of the garage still on the ground.
The garage was a complete loss. But the living space itself was not damaged by any fire.
8 people were able to escape the fire, along with 2 dogs and cats. 2 people were checked out at the scene, and one of them went to the hospital with symptoms from inhaling smoke. As Schmierold was walking her dog Tuesday morning, it was the first time she saw the damage in the daylight.
We thought it was a different house that had burned, so yeah, a little devastating.
While the damage is severe, Schmierold is just glad her neighbors made it out okay.
I'm hoping everything works out okay for them.
Mercedes McKay, 5 on your side.
The family was taken to a hotel in Wentzville. The Red Cross is helping them find temporary housing.
More information tonight about a crime in St. Louis City's Grove neighborhood, now making international news. A woman from the UK who was dragged by a car for several blocks is finally out of ICU. 5 News 9's Andy Kroll is live in the Grove after speaking with Ellie Bentley's attorney and the unsuspecting bar employees who helped save her life. Annie.
I'm here right now at the intersection of Manchester Road and South Taylor Avenue, where Ellie Bentley ended up at about 3 in the morning on Sunday, February 25th. She ducked between two cars to try and avoid being shot. Police say those shots came from a 35-year-old man near Platypus Bar who started shooting out of his car when a group of people mistakenly thought it was their car and got in. Ellie Bentley heard that gunfire and took cover between two other cars. Bentley's attorney says she made eye contact with the driver, so he knew she was in front of his car, but says that didn't stop 25-year-old Deontay Taylor from driving forward and running her over. He says Ellie was dragged for several blocks from the Terra Apartments to the Platypus Bar, where employees quickly jumped into action.
We were the first responders at that point. So we grabbed a bag of towels just right here by the bar, and we fully expect to try to treat a gunshot wound. That's the first thing on our mind. And then, of course, we realized that it was a very, very different situation.
They supplied pressure to her arms and legs, and that really helped slow down the bleeding and ultimately saved her life.
Bentley is a native of Bingham in the UK, and she moved here to St. Louis to be with her now ex-boyfriend, City SC midfielder Indiana Vasilev. There is a GoFundMe page to help with Bentley's medical expenses. You can find a link to donate on our website in the As Seen on TV section of KSDK.com. Reporting live in the Grove, Annie Kroll, 5 on your side.
Local groups advocating for racial justice are demanding greater transparency from top prosecutors in St. Louis.
The group calls itself the Prosecutor Organizing Table and plans to press the St. Louis Circuit Attorney for more transparency later this month. But for now, they say St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell's office needs to show more details to the public. Political editor Mark Maxwell is here now with more on all this. Mark?
This prosecutor organizing table says it is, quote, deeply concerned by the gap between what the candidates promised and what they prioritized in office. And the group now pledges to hold St. Louis prosecutors accountable.
We met Jalian Yang outside the Carnahan Courthouse in downtown St. Louis. The Forward Through Ferguson director said prosecutors owe the public answers.
There is a lack of data and transparency to the public. We don't actually know at which rates people are being sentenced to death, sentenced to jail.
The Prosecutor Organizing Table published Prosecutor Watch, promising to conduct oversight and demand those answers. St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell replied to them in a January letter, "I'm not aware of any prosecutor's office in the country with the ability to track information about declined cases, bail recommendations, and sentencing recommendations."
They are capable of collecting that data. They have to collect records. It's a public office, and the public deserves to know what is happening behind those closed doors.
In his letter, Bell said, "We require additional staff and technical assistance to collect and provide the level of comprehensive data you seek." The preliminary report calls for reducing prosecutors' power and the abolition of the prison industrial complex, asking readers, have you ever felt that police, courts, and incarceration do more harm than good? You're not alone. It links to a national group called Critical Resistance, which publishes this newspaper, Abolitionist, and advocates to defund police.
Where does the prosecutor's role come in?
So the prosecutor, we say, is essentially the first person, the kind of front door to the carceral system.
The initial report said St. Louis is witnessing a regression to law and order and an increase in the use of punitive measures in policing and prosecution in the city under Gabe Gore and in the county under Wesley Bell.
They also have a lot of incentive to go for convictions instead of thinking about getting to the truth of the matter, instead of getting to healing or transformative justice.
Bell's office boasts a 96% success rate in their diversion program. This collective group, though, appears to have remained largely dormant since founding in 2020. Skeptics suggest perhaps they're only now rushing to publish this incomplete report to try and damage Wesley Bell in his race against Congresswoman Cori Bush.
Coming up, new details about a shooting outside the Urban League in St. Louis, how the staff jumped in to help.
And it has been 1 year since a Herman police officer was killed in the line of duty. How the community is remembering him and how his partner is recovering.
And we're tracking rain chances over the next few days. Some of us will get some rain at times, but it's not a washout, and the threat for severe weather looks limited for our region.